Hi, and welcome to this data engineering episode on Microsoft Fabric Unified Data Platform. In this episode, I'm going to practically walk you through how we can connect to multiple CSV files resident in an on-premise folder using the Fabric Data Factory Dataflow Gen 2 workload. We're going to see how we can transform all the files coming from that folder, and after the transformation, we're going to publish to the new SQL Database workload and create a Power BI report. Essentially, I'm going to show you first what doesn't work, and I'm going to show you what works. And this is going to actually save you a ton of time if you're trying to figure this out on your own. Enough of talking, let's get started. If you're new to this channel or you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please click on the subscribe button and toggle on the bell icon to be informed of new videos. Let's go through the files and the folder. So I'm going to come here on-prems. I've got this cells 2015 to 2023 Fabric folder, which is located on my desktop, in the desktop. So inside the folder, I've got the cell 2015 to 2023 CSV files. Cool. Now I'm going to show you first what doesn't work. So I'm going to make sure that this file and the folder is in my desktop or downloads or document, doesn't matter. So I'm going to come back to the app.powerbi.com. So for now, we can see all the workloads. We have the data engineering, data factory, data science, data warehouse, databases, industry solutions, Power BI, real-time intelligence workloads. Now for this demo, we're going to be focusing on the data factory and databases. So I'm going to come to this workspaces, and then I want to open the workspace I created for this demonstration, and that is on-premise folder to SQL Database. Now, before we create anything at all, it is important we download and install the gateway, which is going to facilitate connection to our data on-premise. So to download the gateway, I'm going to click on this download icon, and I can see download gateway. So this is going to launch in a separate tab, which is download standard or the personal. Now it is important you download the standard mode, which is going to work. The personal will not be able to do this job. So once you download, it's going to be downloaded to your downloads. So you can go there and then install it by following the prompts. In my case, I have already done that, and I can see this is named Cornerstone Analytics Gateway, and this is ready to be used. Now I downloaded the latest version, which is January 2025, which is 3000.254.3, and this is good for me. Now I'm going to come back here. Now, after download, I'm going to click on this new item, and I'm going to create the first workload. So I'm going to set for SQL Database, and this is currently in preview. So click on that. I'm going to call this one Sales SQL, and once I'm happy with the name, click on Create. And then we can see the SQL Sales SQL is now provisioned, and on the left-hand pane, similar to the SSMS, we have the Explorer, and then we have this database and then the queries, and we can start building our database by landing our data either from the sample data, new data flow, Gen 2, new data pipeline, SQL, and connection string. So we're going to be focusing on the new data flow today. Now, before we go on, we want to create a table that's going to hold our data coming from the folder. So for example, I'm going to come here and I'm going to just open one of these cells. CSV, so we have year, region, subcategory, product, and sales. So we want to create a table that's going to contain all of these columns. So I'm going to come back here, and then we can click on this new query, and I'm going to use this create table statement. So we have this name of the table, sales data, year, region, subcategory, product, and the sales column. So I can go on and run this, and this is done. So I can click on this refresh, and then I can click on this to expand the database. We have the database owner, DBO, and expand, and we can see that here. So for now, we have no data to display, which is absolutely fine. Now, I'm going to come to these settings, and we want to go to manage connections and gateway, because we need to create connection to our on-premise. So I'm going to click on this manage connections and gateway under the resource connections extension. So click on that. So we have this environment, manage connections and gateway. So I'm going to click on this on-premises data gateway. So you can see Cornerstone Analytics Gateway, and then I can see the contact info, the users, and then the status, which is online, and then we have a single gateway. So I'm going to come back to the connections, and then I'm going to click on this create a new connection. Now, we're going to see this new connection so we can create on-premises, virtual machine, or cloud. So we're going to focus on on-premise today. So for the gateway cluster, I'm going to pick that Cornerstone Analytics Gateway. And for the connection name, I'm going to call this one folder connection. You can use whatever name you like. And then for the connection type, this is going to be pointing to folder connection type. So I'm going to scroll down to F so we can say folder here. Now, this is not going to work. So I'm going to assure you that. So for the full path of the folder, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to make sure I'm inside here. So just click on this open space and it's going to be highlighted. I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy, go back, and I'm going to come to this full path. Control V to paste, and then for the authentication kind, so this is going to be restricted to Windows, and then for the Windows username and password, disregard this. So click on skip test connection and then scroll down, and then for the privacy level, we want to choose none. Now I'm going to click on connect and it's going to be created. So we have that created. So close this and then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And there we go. So we have the folder connection, and this is a folder connection type. That is brilliant. Now I'm going to come back here and then we want to create a new dataflow gen 2, the Power Query Online. So click on that and it's going to provision the dataflow gen 2, and then we can rename and then we can start getting our data. So we have the dataflow 1. I'm going to call this one dataflow folder to SQL database. Once I'm happy, folder. So just click on enter to rename, and that's it. So I'm going to click on get data, and then we can go to the more option at the bottom, and I'm going to search for the folder connector. So we have the folder, which is the on-prems, and then we have the SharePoint folder, which is the cloud. So I'm going to click on this, and then we need the folder path. Now that is copied into the clipboard. So I'm going to press Ctrl V to paste. Now I'm not going to click on edit, and we can see the folder connection has been detected, which is the on-prems that is unique to this Cornerstone Analytics Gateway. So please never click on this edit, whether it works or not, and then click on next. Now this is going to fail, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. So we have this invalid credentials, and we have this session, blah, blah, blah. Now this is not descriptive, and it doesn't tell you what exactly is the reason why it failed. So now the reason why it failed is because the data is actually on the desktop, or it could be in the downloads, it could be in the documents, pictures, and so on and so forth. Now, in order not to get this kind of error, it is important you move the folder to your C drive close to your users. So what I've done is I'm going to come to this Windows here, and then I'm going to go to the users, and then we have the cells 2015 to 2023. This is a copy of that folder. So you can see it's actually within my users here. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to copy this. You can see this is actually much shorter path compared to what we copied and pasted used not too long. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go back. Now, since this is not working, this folder connection is not working, I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to close the dataflow gen 2, and I'm going to click on yes. So go back to the manage connections and gateways, and in order not to cause confusion, I'm going to scroll down and look for that folder. That's it here. So click on this ellipses and remove. So I'm going to just remove, and then I'm going to recreate another one using the newly copied folder path. So click on this new. So I'm going to use the same gateway cluster name. Let me just call this one new folder connection, and then I'm going to choose the type as a folder. So I'm going to scroll down carefully to F, and we can say folder, and then I'm going to paste that in here. So similarly, I'm going to click on skip test connection and click on this privacy level none, click create. So this is created. So we have the new folder connection. So cancel this. I'm going to scroll down, and then we can see that at the bottom here. That is cool. Now I'm going to go back to the data flow we created. Click on that, and then I want to go back and use the folder connector. So click on this get data, more option. I'm going to set for the folder connector. Click on that, and I'm going to paste what I copied. Again, I'm not going to click on this. Now I can see this detected a new folder connection we just created. So I'm going to click on next, and this will work. Amazing. So it worked. So we can see the preview of the folder data. So that's the logic behind being able to get data. So your data must be moved. A copy must be in your C drive in order for this to work. I don't know the reason why it is this way, but that is what I figure out. And there was no documentation, that tells you that your data must be in your C drive. But I just figured this out after spending some couple of time. So we have all of these. So I'm going to click on combine because we want to stack all the data as a single flat file, and I'm going to write it into the newly created table in our SQL database. So in our intermediate tab, we're going to see the preview of the data. We're going to see the delimiter. We're going to see the first 200 rows, and then we can go on and create. So that's what I'm talking about. We have the first of the file, we have the comma delimited, and then we have the first 200 rows. So we can see the year, region, subcategory, product, and the sales. So we can see all of these are coming in form of a string data type, no problems. Now I'm going to click on create. And this is going to be stacked together, and Power Query, the dataflow generator, will automatically invoke some steps in order to transform the data into a single flat file. So we can see this is our result, which is absolutely cool. So I'm going to call this on sales data, and now I can click on this source name and click on the filter just to see all the files. So we can see sales 2015 to 2023.csv. That is cool. So I'm going to click on this, right click, and remove the column because we don't need that column. Now we can see we have the year, and then we have the sales as a whole number data type. So this is automatically transformed. We can see the step here. Cool. Now we're going to go ahead and provision this to our SQL database within our workspaces. So because we did not provision the data flow from the SQL database, so this is going to actually prompt you to add. But if we provision the data flow within the SQL database, so this is going to be detected automatically. So that's just the difference between the two. So I'm going to click on add data destination, click on SQL database, and then it's going to be detected automatically. Fine. I'm going to click on next. And then we can see we have the choose destination. Now I'm going to click on an existing table, and I'm going to scroll down and look for that warehouse, the workspace. So click on this, expand that, and then we can see the cells here. Click on this table. And then I'm going to pick this table here. Okay, so we can see we have no data. So we're going to be publishing or writing into the existing sales data table. So I'm going to click on next, and then for the choose destination settings, so we can see we have the source and the data types, and then the destination data types. Cool. So I'm going to click on save settings, and this is now provisioned. So I'm going to click on publish. So this is going to be, so I'm going to click on this ellipsis for the data flow, and I can click on the refresh history. So let's see the status. So this succeeded in just 8 seconds. That is cool. And I'm going to close this, and then we can go to the SQL database and check this out. So I'm going to click on this refresh, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to close this and then click back, just right click and select top 1000 rows. And let's see, amazing. So we have the data, we have the year, we have the region, subcategory, product, and the sale, which is absolutely cool. Now we can go ahead and create our Power BI report on top of this data. So to do that, I'm going to come here and switch to the SQL Analytics endpoint. Now, of course, in my case, I don't know why this is actually not allowing me to do that, but no problems. I'm going to go back to the workspace, and I can click on this SQL Analytics endpoint, and that's going to switch easily for me. And then we can see again when I click on this, and I'm going to expand, and then we have the data here, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we can go ahead and create a Power BI report on top of this. So I'm going to click on this reporting tab, and then we have this new report. Click on that. And then we can see we can manage default Power BI semantic model. In our case, we have a single sales data table. Click on continue. And then we can see successfully updated the semantic model. So we have the sales data. Now, let's say we want to see the total sales by products. Now, because this actually contains a sigma sign, I'm going to go back and instruct the sigma sign to be removed. So I'm going to just leave this as it is, come back here to the SQL Analytic endpoint, and I'm going to scroll down and go to model layout. So in the model layout, we're going to see the table. Let me come to all tables. Okay, so we can see all of these exec requests and so on and so forth. Scroll to the right, and then we have the table here. Now, I don't know why we have this caution sign, but no problem. Now I'm going to click on this year. the year column, and I'm going to scroll down, and at the bottom go to the advanced menu. Again, I'm going to scroll down for the last time, and then we have option based on the data categorization. So sorry, the summarize. I'm going to say a no, don't summarize. And let me just come here. Okay, this is fine. So we're not going to summarize that column. Now we can go back to the Power BI and let's go back here. So we can see we have the year here. So let me just drag this and then let's see this by the sales. So basically we just want to create an implicit measure. So we can see the sum of sales by year, and that's cool. And let me just duplicate this and let's turn this to a chart such as the clustered column chart. So this worked fine. I can expand this. So we have all our data. So this is basically how we can connect to data in on-premise folder, transform it in the dataflow gen tool, publish to the SQL database, and create a Power BI report on top of the data. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, share, and follow me for more videos. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.